Watching Morning Live, thanks for being with us. Now, having failed to appear in the Durban Magistrate's Court on Friday and after a warrant of arrest was issued for former KZN Police Commissioner Mmamonnye Ngobeni, she appeared yesterday and was granted 20,000 rand bail. Now, charges against her relate to her alleged interference in a 2010 FIFA World Cup fraud and corruption case that was investigated by then Hawks boss, Major General Johan Booysen. Now, Ngobeni allegedly received kickbacks for instructing Booysen to stop his investigation into the multi-million rand police accommodation tender. Booysen says that the current events affirm his assertions in his book, Blood on Their Hands. General Johan Booysen revealed his truth, and that was, of course, published 4 years ago. And General Johan Booysen joins us now to talk more about these current developments. General Booysen, thanks so much for your time. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, Sakina.
So it's almost a decade after some of these events came to light. What's your view on the current events?
Well, Sakina, I welcome the positive moves to root out corruption. We've seen a number of arrests over the last week or so, but I don't think we're there yet. What I would like to see is that the prosecutors who, at the time, when we presented the dockets to them then, I'm referring to the Director of Public Prosecutions at the time in KwaZulu-Natal, Advocate Mmamonnye Noko, we somehow found that there was no evidence, and we now see that prosecutors have managed to compile a comprehensive indictment against the accused in this matter. And then also the very same prosecutor who managed to find that there was no case to be made out against the accused in this matter, somehow managed to find evidence to have me prosecuted for racketeering at the time.
And then to that point, and I know you don't work for the NPA and don't presume to speak on their behalf, but Commissioner Ngobeni, through her lawyer, said that they are surprised as to why the NPA had declined to prosecute a few years ago and why they are doing so now. So just from your intimate knowledge of what has gone on around this case, why do you think that the NPA are now at a point where they can prosecute Ngobeni?
I think one area where I might agree with him is that I'm just as surprised that the prosecutor did not prosecute almost a decade ago. However, I'm not as surprised that they're prosecuting now. As far as I'm concerned, and I was privy to the evidence is compelling. There are over 200 affidavits, about 20 lever arch files. There's a Price Waterhouse independent forensic audit report, which clearly indicates that they have a case to answer.
So just going back to what actually happened. Now, you were investigating this particular case involving Umhlanga businessman Toshan Pandey, amongst others. And as you related, you were then told to stop that investigation by Commissioner Ngobeni. Can you perhaps, for the benefit of the viewers who may not be familiar with what happened then, in a nutshell, tell us exactly how this discord came about?
Well, basically, I was informed by the provincial head of finance in the province at the time, Brigadier Kemp, that he had detected some irregularities with the procurement procedures that had been followed. We then launched an investigation. I gave it over to investigators reporting to myself. And within a week or so after commencing with the investigation, I received a call from the then Provincial Commissioner in Ngobeni to stop with the investigation. And we had a couple of meetings after that in which he made it abundantly clear to me that we should cease with the investigation.
And then, of course, things took a turn for the worse because you continued. Anwar Dramat, then Hawks boss, then told you to continue, which you did. And it obviously created quite a bit of friction between you and Commissioner Ngobeni.
Well, in the initial stages, I wouldn't say that there was friction. I think she realized that we were busy with the investigation, so she in the start, we had a couple of acrimonious meetings where she insisted that we stop the investigation. But other than that, she didn't really concern herself with me. But as the investigation progressed, the relationship between her and myself deteriorated.
So she told you to stop the investigation, as you have testified previously before the Zondo Commission and, of course, in your book as well. Can you talk to us about that? Was that a direct instruction?
That was a direct instruction. The first instruction that I got from her was when she phoned me on my way home. I was on my way home from work, and she phoned me and asked me what the investigation was that we were busy with. I informed her that we were busy with another investigation. Which one was she referring to? She then told me about the specific investigation of Toshan Pandey and told me that I should come and see her and that the investigation should stop immediately. Subsequent to that, she had called me to her office on more than one occasion. On 2 of those occasions, she actually had the subjects whom we were investigating in her office, where I was instructed to stop the investigation.
So talk to us about that, because you say at that particular meeting, Toshan Pandey was with his lawyer and that she actually didn't say much. They were doing the talking.
Well, that's right. She called me to her office, and adjacent to her office, she had a little boardroom. I was oblivious to their presence there, and she then took me to the boardroom, and I was confronted by a team of lawyers representing Toshan Pandey. This happened on 2 occasions.
So, in terms of the evidence that you uncovered as a result of continuing to investigate what had happened with this 2010 tender with the South African Police Service, what were some of the irregularities that you uncovered, General Booysen?
They flouted just about every rule regarding the Treasury regulations in terms of tender procedures, the submission of orders. They cover-quoted, they inflated prices. Just about every rule that they could break in terms of the Treasury regulations, they broke.
You say they, who are you referring to exactly?
Well, that was the Colonel, that Supply Chain Management, Colonel Naveen Madhu. There was a Captain Ashwin Narain Prasad, and Mr. Toshan Pandey, the businessman.
So what was the involvement then of Commissioner Ngobeni in all of this?
Well, basically the fact that she stopped the investigation, that amounts to defeating the ends of justice. But we later established that the businessman had paid for a lavish birthday party for her husband in Umhlanga Rocks during this period. And that's where the quid pro quo came in. And that's why I understand that she's also been charged on the Prevention of Corrupt Activities Act.
But during your investigation, were you able to draw a direct line in any of the evidence that you uncovered to the Commissioner and Mr. Pandey?
Yes, the evidence regarding the payment of the birthday party, the birthday bash, as we called it at the time, at a hotel in Umhlanga Rocks, and the fact that she stopped the investigation, that clearly falls within the defiance of activities on the Prevention of Corrupt Activities Act.
So then, of course, there was the matter of the Cato Manor death squad in which you and others were implicated. We know now that NPA head Shamila Batoy has withdrawn the Cato Manor racketeering charges against you and others. Talk to us about that, because I remember at the time the then Deputy National Director of Public Prosecutions, Nomkovo Jiba, actually, when she was facing an inquiry about her fitness to hold office, said that she felt that it was correct to proceed with those charges against you. I see we may have lost General Booysen there, so we'll have to come back to that. Speaking to General Johan Booysen there about what the latest developments are around this particular matter, and yesterday, of course, the KZN Commissioner there appearing before court alongside others. And this all goes back some 10 years ago almost to the 2010 World Cup, and some of the charges that were leveled, and then there were charges leveled either way. And the Cato Manor death squad that I'm trying to get to, charges were there conferred on the Major General and some other police officers in this regard. But of course, let's take a quick break and see if we can get Major General Johan Booysen back.